Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining us on our second Facebook Live video. The first one, if you recall, we talked about planes and food and wine and safari, and today we're going to talk about cruising and also still a little bit of food and wine, which seems to be the common thing. We're going to talk travel too. So we are on board Silver Muse, which is the newest ship in the Silver Sea fleet. If you haven't been on a Silver Sea cruise in a while or ever, this is definitely one of the best cruise experiences so far that we've had in a really, really long time. We boarded on Sunday in Monte Carlo with 40 Admiral travel guests, sailed to Livorno, sailed to Corsica, and today we happen to be in Olbia, Sardinia. And if you've never heard of Sardinia before, I'm sure you've heard of it in the last few hours. And in case you missed it, George Clooney happened to get into a little bit of a scooter crash. Wasn't our fault. We had nothing to do with it, and apparently he's okay. But Sardinia is beautiful. We had the chance to go to Cala di Volpe today. So Mario and Claudio, thanks for setting that up for us because it was absolutely gorgeous. So now we're back on board. And what we wanted to do is talk to you a little bit about this cruise experience and who we are traveling with. So you've seen it, I'm sure, through all of our Facebook updates that we are so excited that our co-host on this trip happens to be Salvatore Ferragamo of Il Boro Wines. And so many of you who have known us over the years, you always say to me like, oh, so you're friends with the shoe guy? He's not the shoe guy, but I do want to introduce you to him so he can talk to us a little bit about Il Boro, about his background, and share a little bit more with you on how Il Boro wines are now tied into the Silver Sea brand. So, Salvatore, thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mel. It's a great pleasure to be here on this beautiful Silver Seas Muse ship, which is truly spectacular. And of course in the Mediterranean, so this is really my sea, so I feel very comfortable in the waters that I actually navigate myself personally with the family, with our much smaller sailing boats. But very, very happy to be here and to have an opportunity to tell the story of the wines from my family estate, the Il Boro, which I am very fortunate to manage, and also about this beautiful winery that also has a medieval village that is actually a Relais and Chateau medieval village hotel. We are partners with Virtuoso. We are actually a Virtuoso preferred partner, and it's just a beautiful story. It's a story of authenticity, architecture, history that I am very happy and fortunate to share with, of course, my friends Mel and Brian, and of course with all your wonderful guests.
Yes. Ryan's on the other side of the camera, and what I neglected to mention is that anybody who's watching, if you do want to ask a question to Salvatore or to me, feel free to type that in and we'll try and get to those as quickly as we can. We've had some amazing experiences at Il Boro. Ryan will talk a little bit more about our friendship and how we've met and become friends over the years. But this past couple days ago when we docked in Livorno, we had a very, very special treat. Our guests were, I think they knew what we were going to do, but we wanted to have a couple little bit of surprises along the way. So we disembarked the ship, took a train from Livorno to Florence, which was great, because we were able to avoid the traffic. We spent a couple of hours in Florence. We were able to have special permission to visit the Ferragamo Museum. We even got an opportunity to go into the shops and show my shoes. I did buy some Ferragamo shoes. Happy about that. And then we enjoyed a little bit of a snack before we boarded our motor coach to get to Il Boro. And a lot of our guests had no idea that Il Boro was and is as beautiful as it is. I think they just have the impression that it's a winery. So I encourage anybody who's going to that area. There's apartments, villas, correct?
Absolutely.
And then we've had the opportunity to stay in the largest villa, which, tell us about that one. I think it's 7 floors, 6 floors?
Well, actually, it's a good memory. It's 7 floors, 10 bedrooms, but we don't rent out all the bedrooms. Actually, the villa is taken as a whole. It comes with butlers, chefs, fully staffed, fully serviced. And the villa is really quite special. It's where the landlord, so the property has a historic value. There's of course 1,000 years of history on this estate. And the landlords of this property stayed in the villa, occupied the villa, with an incredible view of the medieval village, which is also 1,000 years old, the medieval village right below.
And when the guests had a chance to, walk around the property, and then Salvatore, who met everybody for the first time on that day on Monday, we had an exceptional wine lunch at the bistro. Is that what it's called there? Yeah. So at the bistro, and he paired these different wines. So Chardonnay. Those of you who know me, I love Chardonnay. And with the Pian di Nova, right? So we have that with the second course, and then the Il Boro wine. So we're excited that these wines are on Silversea now. So again, when you're sailing on Silversea, but also, any opportunity that you have, you see these wines in any restaurants around the world, make sure, you try them, because they're very, very good. Brian, I think I want to turn it over to you. I don't know if you had any questions yet so far.
No questions coming in yet, but Salva, why don't you tell us a little bit about your winemaking and how you do it and why you do it and what you enjoy most about it?
Well, of course, this is a property that is very special for me, for my father, for my family. We bought the property 25 years ago, back in 1993. And our philosophy has always been one of sustainability. I think today it's important, it's a responsibility we all have. And in fact, all our wines, as of January 2015, are all produced organically. So they're qualified as organic grape wines.
Good.
Okay.
So we having said that, also the property has we produce solar energy, so photovoltaic solar energy. And so the medieval village, which is a Relais Chateau hotel, also is fueled by solar power. Actually, we produce 3 times as much energy as we consume. So we qualify as a negative carbon footprint property, which I think is also very important. When our guests come and visit the property, not only they're staying in a medieval village that is 1,000 years old and get that incredible cultural experience, but they're also contributing positively to our world by a negative carbon emission, which I think is also important.
And I have to mention, it's definitely one of the most scenic Tuscan properties you could ever visit. Every inch of it just reeks of Tuscany, the cypress trees lining the entranceway, the gorgeous views from the restaurants, the little medieval village situated on the top of the hill. It couldn't be more Tuscan even if you tried really, really hard.
Salva, thank you.
For sure. Yeah, we've known each other for about 12, 13, 14 years now, and actually for us it all started on a Silversea ship.
It did, absolutely.
Yes, many years ago. Thanks to the Silversea team, we've had the opportunity to get to know each other. We've done really fun things in Italy. We've had unique experiences at Il Boro, both dinners, lunches, on the horses, walking in the jeeps. We have had the opportunity to work with you to have our travelers at the very famous Il Palio in Siena, overlooking that piazza, watching the horses and the jockeys, and that it's more than just a horse race, I promise you. I'm still trying to understand it.
Absolutely. Just came from the Palio this year as well. It was crazy. It's very, very medieval in many ways, but incredibly exciting also at the same time.
Sure. And just down the road in Lahatico with Salva, we had the opportunity to watch Andrea Bocelli live, one gorgeous Tuscan evening, beautiful crowd, gorgeous night, and a most memorable music experience for sure. Is he still doing that?
He's actually, yes, he had a little break in between, so he wasn't doing that anymore. I remember, of course, Andrea is a family friend, so he's great. But we were doubly lucky that evening, because if I'm not mistaken, we also got a chance to meet Placido Domingo, which was singing along with Andrea, remember?
Correct. And the Admiral Travel guests actually had the opportunity to go backstage and get to meet both Andrea and Placido after the event.
After the event, yes.
Very, very special when they were all still pumped up, full of adrenaline. The crowds were still cheering. It was a very unique experience. And then from there, we've had the very unique opportunity to sneak his wines into Egypt and work with Chef Roy Yamaguchi on a very special experience on Giza, overlooking the Great Pyramid and all the other pyramids and the Sphinx of Giza for a very special, unique evening. And I heard you bring it up just the other day. Even for you, it was special.
You know, for a producer, there is nothing more special than pouring your wines in front of the pyramids, because you know it's a practically impossible feat to do. So I participate, as you know, in many wine tastings, but to actually pour our wines in front of the pyramids was truly a unique experience.
I agree, for sure. And here today, we're still making wonderful memories for travelers. I know just last night we had a great dinner. Tomorrow we're going to have another wonderful dinner. And obviously for any travelers who are interested in learning more about Il Borro, that Relais Chateau property in the medieval village on top of the hill, very unique, well worth your time. As a Virtuoso Reserve property, you can be sure that the Virtuoso amenities and experiences will carry through for you. It's very authentic. Mel, do you have any questions?
We had one pop up from Francois, who is the head chef aboard Crystal Sky. And he said, well, if we're going to be talking amazing travel experiences, how about pouring wines on that plane? So that's something we're going to have to think about and do that, maybe possibly.
Definitely something we're going to have to think about. Very unique travel opportunity through Admiral Travel and Authentiscapes. An opportunity to visit Africa, travel there by private jet aboard the Crystal Sky, enjoy 6 unique nights of safari with the Singita Safari Lodges in South Africa. Maybe there's a chance we'll be able to create some more magical memories.
You know, Ryan, this would be the first for me to actually do a wine tasting at 40, 30, 40,000 feet. I've never actually done a wine tasting on a jet as it's moving over across to Africa, so it will be definitely my first. So why not? Let's talk about this.
I love that, for sure. I know many thanks to Silver Sea, specifically Mark Conroy and his team. You guys have been great to work with. It's a treat to have Salvatore on board with our guests. And I know that all of the Silver Sea guests are going to be enjoying this delicious Il Borro wine, the Chardonnay, the 75% Shiraz, 25% Sangiovese.
Sangiovese, we're incredibly fortunate because Silver Seas has been fantastic in supporting our wines over the years. And we have on board our Lamelle wine, which is 100% Chardonnay from Tuscany. It's actually more of a minerality, more savory, less oaky Chardonnay. It really is a fantastic wine. We've had incredible success. Then we have the Pian di Nova 2015, which is a blend of Syrah and Sangiovese. It's actually our first certified organic wine, which is something which we're very proud as a red wine from Il Borro. And of course, our flagship wine of Il Borro, which is the Il Borro Toscana 2013 vintage. This actually was a 95-point Parker wine, which was wonderful to have. And this is a blend. It's a blend actually of 4 varieties. So it's Merlot, Cabernet, Syrah, and Petit Verdot. More of your full body type of wine from the beautiful estate of Il Borro.
I can vouch for it. I know it's tasty.
It is tasty. We've been drinking a lot of it. So, so thanks again to Salvatore on behalf of our guests who are on board with us. They're loving it. Salvatore's son, Massimo, happens to be with us too, and he's having a great time. And it's just been kind of fun to watch both of our kids just growing up together, and he's taller than you, which is crazy. But anyway, so thanks again, and you guys know how to reach us for any questions, and